Hello, welcome back to Poetry Lockdown, day 222, crazy 222 days. Obviously not a poem for every single one of those days lately, but I'm really excited to be continuing to share poetry with you during the fall. So you've probably noticed I've really been interested in lately poems that are interested in grief and suffering and pain. It's an essential part of who we are as human beings, and poets that can integrate that in honestly and authentically really move me. So this is another poet who's really exploring grief in fresh and interesting ways. Etheridge Knight. I'll read his poem and then tell you a little bit about why I love it. A poem of Attrition by Etheridge Knight. I do not know if the color of the day was blue, pink, green, or August red. I only know it was summer, a Thursday, and the trestle above our heads sliced the sun into black and gold bars that fell across our shiny backs and shimmered like flat snakes on the water. Worried by the swans, shrieks, jackknives, and timid gainers, made bolder as the day grew older. Then Pooky Dee, naked chieftain, poised, feet gripping the black ribs of wood, knees bent, butt out, long arms looping the air, challenged the great 2.5 gainer. I have forgotten the sound of his capped skull as it struck the block. The plop of a book dropped, the tear of a sheer blouse. I do not know if the color of the day was blue, pink, green, or August red. I only know the blood slithered and our silence rolled like oil across the wide green water. That is Etheridge Knight, a powerful, disturbing poem about the death of a young person. And I think I've read it a couple of times over the last month or so. And I think this last time that I read it, I don't know if I really noticed the title before, a poem of Attrition, and I realized when I was reading the poem, I actually don't really know exactly what attrition means. I hear about that phrase like a war of attrition, and I'm always like, oh yeah, that's the kind of thing that it seems like it's no good for anybody. It's kind of, that's on my mind, just sort of files it away and lazily doesn't look up the word actually. So I looked it up this morning as I was reading the poem, and I thought I'd share just my sort of like musings on the word, because I feel like titles aren't for accident, right? I mean, poets think hard about the title because it sort of orients us to the rest of the poem. And attrition, which I think is from a Latin word, something attritus, attritere or something, means literally to rub away, to wear away by friction. And so in the metaphorical sense, attrition gradually reducing the strength or effectiveness of something through sustained attack or pressure. That's sort of the idea of a war of attrition. It's just kind of like you wear somebody down, you wear someone down. But then I started thinking about with this poem, and it made me think about maybe this is saying something true about the nature of grief, because I think when something traumatic happens, you can return in your memory to it again and again and again, and there is a sense, this is a poem of sorrow. But it's strange because the actual moment, the moment of Pooky Dee's head striking the block, that's the thing that Etheridge Knight, the poet, or the speaker of the poem anyways, can't remember. He asks, is it the sound of the plop of a book dropped, the tear of a sheer blouse? I mean, those are two very different sounds, first of all, and it seems to suggest that in a way that this the trauma of this memory has kind of woven it inside of the poet's life, but the actual moment itself has become blurry, which to me speaks to grief's reality, something really true about grief. So I found that really, I found that to be true and meaningful, and also kind of disturbing about how our memories work. So this isn't a comforting poem, as I'm sure you can see. But I also think that there's something about through the poet's repetition and kind of creating a music with a repetition of I do not know was the color blue, pink, green, or August red. The attrition, also the kind of rubbing away, also, I don't know, it allows for a quietness, the continual return. It almost is like, I don't know, it has like a ritual sense of the poet kind of knows how to return to this moment in a really reverent way, I guess, for lack of a better word. So that was my thinking on this poem. I really love the poem, though, so maybe I'll read the last few lines as we close out Etheridge Night, the last lines of a poem of attrition. I have forgotten the sound of his capped skull as it struck the block. The plop of a book dropped, the tear of a sheer blouse. I do not know if the color of the day was blue, pink, green, or August red. I only know the blood slithered and our silence rolled like oil across the wide green water. Thank you, Etheridge Night, for this difficult but beautiful poem, and thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a great day and rest of your week. Peace.